Waste remains a challenge worldwide, whether it's food, packaging, or plastics. You name it, it's a problem. Tayla Shalev from RAP joined us now to talk about their initiatives, and later we will also talk to Dirk from Potatoes SA. Tayla, very briefly, who is RAP and where do you fit in an SA structure?
Thank you so much, Lisa. So RAP is a global environmental action NGO. Our aim is to transform our broken product and food systems to create circular living for the benefit of the climate, for the nature, and for people. We've been doing that for over 20 years. We've been delivering programs that look to reduce CO2 and waste, restore nature, and change people's behaviours. And we do this by following the principles of the circular economy through our key impact areas, which focus on food system transformation and creating circularity for plastics and textiles. And we do this by bringing together businesses and local governments and also NGOs to create the systemic change that our planet desperately needs. So in terms of the South African context, we are a strategic partner to two of the South African's major NGOs in the country. One is called the CGCSA, the Consumer Goods Council South Africa, who are the delivery partner on the ground for the South African Food Loss and Waste Initiative. The other is for Green Cape, who are the Secretariat of the South African Plastics Pact. The South African Plastics Pact is one of 13 pacts that sits in the Global Plastics Pact network. And all of these plastics pacts are working towards the same targets under the EMF's New Plastics Economy Initiative.
Now, I believe you've done work in agriculture in the UK that can be transferred to South Africa. Talk to us about that.
Yes, absolutely. Everything that we've done in the UK and globally when it comes to food system transformation is transferable. So I'd be happy to talk to you some of the work that we've done in the UK, and hopefully that some of those learnings can be implemented in South Africa through the South African Food Loss and Waste Initiative. So back in 2018, in the UK, it was estimated that 3.6 million tonnes of food surplus and waste in UK agriculture was ending up in landfill, or not ending up on the plate that it was designated to go to. And this was equivalent to 1.2 billion British pounds, which is far too much money and food to be wasting. So at that time, RAP's work with several sectors had identified that there was a lot of variability between the waste that was coming from different farms, depending on the produce, the time of year, the farmers themselves and their own practices. So between 2018 and 2020, RAP worked with some of the UK's farmers to explore how small groups of farmers could be encouraged to collaborate together around identifying a consistent methodology to undertake measurements, to apply that methodology and analyse and share their results when it came to the food waste that was arising on their farms. And then in the long term to then develop some guidance that the farmers could use together to measure their waste better and work together to identify solutions to reduce this waste or to find other end markets so that waste didn't end up in landfill. This project was funded by UK government, by DEFRA, as they were interested in exploring a farmer-led research project that would potentially lead to new ideas of on-farm innovation and improved farming guidance, which it did. Some of the key drivers of food surplus and waste on the farm, such as lack of flexibility in specifications or even the absence of reliable or economical secondary markets, we found could only be tackled in collaboration with others across the supply chain, so not just within agriculture too. And so these collaborative approaches to food surplus and waste are what we advocate for at RAP and with the partners that we organise, that we collaborate with in South Africa. And we found that this is what is most likely going to have most success in tackling some of those biggest drivers of food waste. And we know that reducing food waste does improve yield and it also does improve profitability. So those learnings, that learning of collaboration is not necessarily specific to the UK or to Europe. It is a worldwide solution that we would recommend that South African agriculture businesses do look at adopting within their own practices too.
Why don't you share a few thoughts on one or two projects you are currently busy with?
In South Africa, as I've mentioned, we are partnered with the CGCSA to help them to deliver the South African Food Loss and Waste Initiative. This is what we call a public-private partnership, or a voluntary agreement, as we call them at RAP, bringing together stakeholders from across South Africa's food and drink supply chain to reduce the country's food waste by 50% by 2030. This is the target that's in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goal 12.3 and is the same target that all other food loss and waste voluntary agreements worldwide are also working to, which are using the principles of Target, Measure, Act to reduce the food that's being lost or wasted within their operations and also along their supply chain. Target, Measure, Act is the principles that RAP and another organisation called IGD have identified through the Food Waste Reduction Roadmap, which is a freely available tool that other organisations and initiatives like the one in South Africa are embedding and advocating for their signatories, as we call them, to use to reduce their own food waste. This voluntary agreement is freely available for all Consumer Goods Council members, and that includes farmers and those working in agriculture or those working alongside food businesses in South Africa, so the likes of other NGOs, trade associations, academia, and also government. And we recommend that any businesses in those categories do look at signing up to the voluntary agreement so that they can also work collaboratively to reduce their food loss and waste. Another project that we're working on, as I said before, is around the South African Plastics Pact, supporting Green Cape to deliver on the targets that they've set currently to 2025, which will soon be extended to 2030. These are targets that look at creating circularity for plastics packaging in South Africa. And a big area that this team and this voluntary agreement are focusing on at the moment is around extended producer responsibility. And a key area that we've noticed, or that Green Cape and the signatories of this voluntary agreement have highlighted that they're really struggling with, is around the collection and recycling of difficult to recycle flexible packaging. And so what we're doing is we're working together with Green Cape and one of the PROs in South Africa, Polyco, to identify what are the barriers to that success of that material being collected and recycled. And there's an ongoing workshop happening just this week, actually, that we're hoping that we'll be able to publish the findings of, which brings together all of the signatories of the South African Plastics Pact, but also additionally the members who are signed up to Polyco to bring together and share their learnings, understandings of what the possibilities are to change the infrastructure and improve the market for this material.
Tayla, thank you very much. Won't you leave us with a few thoughts or recommendations? What can we do to make a difference?
So if you are part of a food and drink business that is working in South Africa or supporting businesses in South Africa, then I would encourage you to look at Target, Measure, Act. This is a great principle that can help you to reduce your environmental impact in a considered way. And there are plenty of free resources to help you to do that. If you're already doing this or are interested in doing a lot more, we would encourage you to then look at working with your peers and collaborating with others across the value chain through the voluntary agreements that I've mentioned today. So the South African Food Loss and Waste Initiative and or the South African Plastics Pact, depending on which is your key focus area. Action is urgently needed to reduce the impact of food waste and packaging in our natural environment. We do need to act fast, and the best way to do that is to act together. And if you have any questions, then please do get in touch with me or my peers in South Africa.
And that was Tayla Shalev from RAP, and as promised, Dirk from Potatoes SA joins us now. Dirk, jy het gehoor, sy het gepraat van aksie is dringend nodig, en ek weet julle is besig met wonderlike projekte ook. Verwys eers na die BFAP studie wat gedoen is, praat met ons daaroor.
Ja, so ons het agtergekom, daar is definitief 'n behoefte om van ons laer graad aardappels, kom ons praat van die aardappels met persoonlikheid, iets daarmee te doen. So ons het saam met die Technology and Innovation Agency, TIA in kort, het ons 'n projek aan die gang gekry om eers te kyk wat is die kwantum van waste of laaggraadse aardappels in Suid-Afrika. En in hierdie studie, dit was eintlik 'n baie positiewe studie, want dit is dan nie so hoog soos in ander dele van die wêreld gewees nie, maar ons het gesien dat tussen 5 en 8% van ons aardappels word weggegooi. Die grootste gros daarvan is op die plaasvlak, en die waarde daarvan is hier by die 759 miljoen rand. Gelukkig 'n groot deel daarvan eindig dan by diere, waar boere dit vir hulle diere gee as kos. Maar mens moet ook kyk na die ander vlakke op die mark natuurlik, is daar probleme met waste, veral in die warme tye van die jaar soos nou. En dan op die winkelrakke ook. aardappel wat nie betyds verkoop nie, dit is ook 'n probleem. So dis eintlik maar die kleinste hoeveelheid van die aardappels, dis so tot 2%. En dan by die verwerker self, aardappels wat nou nie die kwaliteitsstandaarde aan voldoen nie. Dis omtrent so 4% van die totale hoeveelheid wat gelewer word aan hulle, maar hulle het ook baie innoverende maniere om van die aardappels ontslae te raak, soos biogas byvoorbeeld.
Nou die 4-5% waarna jy verwys, ons moet dit binne konteks sien, is dit baie, is dit min?
Ek dink in die wêreldstandaard is dit minder as die res van die wêreld. Ons weet Europese lande is hulle het seker baie meer besteedbare inkomste, so hulle het 'n kultuur van beter gehalte aardappels. En in Suid-Afrika, ja, ons het mos 'n ander situasie hierso, so daar is mense sal 'n laer kwaliteit aardappel hier gebruik en ek dink daar is baie heel wat geleenthede vir sulke aardappels, want ek sou daarmee nie. Die kwaliteit is goed en die voedingswaarde daarvan is net so goed. Hulle lyk net
Gesels met ons oor wat spesifiek Aardappels SA doen om hierdie probleme aan te spreek.
So, saam met hierdie TIA-projek het ons toe besluit, wat kan ons doen met hierdie aardappels met persoonlikheid of die lelike aardappels, en ons het saam met die Universiteit van Pretoria en die Universiteit van Stellenbosch het ons hande gevat, en daar is 3 projekte wat ons na kyk, om te kyk hoe kan ons waarde toevoeg tot hierdie aardappels, en ja, dit is besig om 'n baie interessante studie te word. So die eerste projek saam met die Universiteit van Pretoria se verbruikerswetenskappe het ons 'n nagraadse student wat kyk na wat kan ons nog doen met aardappels, veral gesien dat met die koolhidrate, baie mense het probleme met gluten en daai soort van dinge. So, hulle het nou byvoorbeeld 'n pasta gemaak uit die aardappels uit, wat in 'n lasagne byvoorbeeld kan ingaan. Hulle het 'n ontbyt peselhappie,
daar sy.
breakfast snack noem hulle dit, het hulle gemaak vir as mens so aan die gang is in die oggend, dis 'n ding wat mens vinnig aan 'n toaster, 'n rooster kan warm maak, en hy het die voordele van die aardappels. En hulle het selfs 'n roomys gemaak uit die aardappels uit, wat vir my nogal innoverend was. So dis die een projek. Dan het ons ook 'n projek by Stellenbosch Universiteit wat hulle die waardevolle deel van die aardappels, die koolhidrate wil uithaal. En die ideaal is om dit by die prosent te kan doen. Dit is waar ons sal mik. Aardappel is mos 20% vaste stof en 80% water. So ons wil die goedheid uithaal, die waarde van die aardappels, en dan kan ons dit gebruik in die voedselbedryf vir resepte, net om 'n basis te hê vir baie produkte. En dan die derde ene is die aardappels wat regte waar nou nie so lekker is nie. Die projek daar is om insekte daarop te laat groei, wat ons proteïene kan produseer vir die veevoerbedryf. Insek of proteïene is 'n baie duur ding. Op die oomblik is ons baie afhanklik van visproteïene. So hierdie kan 'n alternatief wees vir 'n visproteïen. So ja.
Dis wonderlike werk wat julle doen. Jy moet ons tog uitnooi dat ons daai kan kom afneem, waar daai insekte so groei daar op daai
aardappels. Ja, dit is nogal ons sal dit definitief moet doen.
Ja. Dirk, baie dankie dat jy vandag met ons gesels het oor hierdie waste, of sal ons dit mooi sê in Afrikaans, vermorsing.
Ja.
Dat ons dit minder maak ook in julle bedryf en in Suid-Afrika. Dirk Eis van Aardappels SA.